Welcome to a tutorial to make your own fidget toy using 123D design. I'm going to move pretty fast here, so if you run into any troubles, please just pause the video and check out what tool I'm choosing. I'll try to explain it as quickly as I can. So the first thing you want to do is open 123D design and start a new project. You're going to see the work plane in front of you, and you're going to turn to a top view. You're going to use the pan tool to pan to the center of the screen. First, we're going to choose a circle tool. You click to choose where you want it to start, and you're going to choose to make it 22 millimeters. That's roughly the size of the skateboard bearings that are standard. Next, you're going to choose a polygon tool, and you're going to click on the circle we made and then on the center of the circle. You're going to change it to a three-sided polygon, which is of course a triangle. I made mine 26 millimeters, but you might want to make yours slightly smaller. I find that this ends up being slightly large. So now what you're going to do is you're going to use the circle tool to make 3 more circles around the edge. And every time you make a new circle, you have to select the triangle first. Click on the triangle, and then click, well, okay, I'm going to screw up here occasionally. If you screw up, just hit Control-Z to undo what you last did, or the undo button at the top of the page. So once I select the triangle, then I can click the point where I want my circle to start, and again, I'm going to make it 22 millimeters in diameter. So we're going to do this 3 times, and then we're going to trim out all of the stuff that we don't want to have be part of our design. And making sure that those are all 22 millimeters is going to make a nice project. If you want something slightly less snug, you can make it a 1/10 of a millimeter larger, 1/20 of a millimeter larger, or if you want a real challenge, you could even make it smaller. I find that they tend to be pretty snug and maybe have to be hammered in or persuaded. Okay, notice I erased with the trim tool those extra lines, and now I'm going about making an extra circle around each outer bearing, and then I'll have more trimming to do once we're done with that. Again, I'm selecting and then choosing the center point of the circle, making them all the same. I could make these dimensions slightly smaller. Again, my fidget toy ended up being a little bigger, so if you're making one for a small child, I would recommend maybe making it a millimeter or 2 smaller than what I did here. So again, using that trim tool to trim out all of the extra pieces between the circles. Anything that I don't want to have print, that I don't want to have be a different part of the design. I could keep these in here and extrude each section of the design to a different height. I've seen that done quite successfully. But for our choices today, then this is just lovely. So again, I'm going to make another polygon tool, and again I'm going to make a triangle. I just want my design to spin a little bit more effectively, and I find that this works kind of nicely if I make a triangle that's a little bit larger in size. Okay. Oh, I didn't like that one. Let's try this again. Click on the design. Oh, oops. Not sure how that happened. Try again. Click on the polygon tool. Click on the design. Now click a center point. It actually gives you instructions as to what it wants you to do. Again, I have to make that not a 6-sided, but a 3-sided triangle. I don't want a polygon. Though again, you could choose a different shape and work with that. So I'm really trying to get this to be kind of smooth. So I might even have to do some zooming in to really trim out the right tools. I could do this with polylines too, but I really want it to be symmetrical, and I find that if I'm doing a lot of polyline work, sometimes it's hard to get the shapes connected in the way that I want them to look. Okay, so we're getting closer here. Hopefully you're kind of getting a feeling for what this design is going to look like. Sometimes it can be hard to choose the right lines to trim out. You have to make sure the one in red is the one you're trying to get rid of. And you have to make sure all of these extra little lines are taken care of. Oh, forgot one. Okay, zooming and panning is my friend, though of course there's always that checkmark tool too. It's kind of obnoxious. So again, I'm trying to choose which. Okay, so that if you right click, it's different than if you're using the pan tool. I'm orbiting, and now I'm zooming out and panning. And remember that green check mark will help you exit whatever tool you're using. Alrighty, so I'm kind of happy with this design, and I think it's going to be time to extrude it and finish it off. Let's see what I'm going to do next. Alright. So I tilted using the orbit tool, I tilted it a little bit so that I could extrude the design. I'm making it 7 millimeters because of course the depth of the skateboard bearings is 7 millimeters. And now I want to give it a fancy edge. So what I'm going to do is hold the shift key and click all of these edge faces. I chose a tool called fillet or fillet, and then I can actually just curve that down, give it a nice beveled edge. Now I find when I spin this, it's actually kind of hard on the fingers because you kind of get less surface area to actually spin it with, and I feel like if it was a flat surface it actually might be a little more comfortable to spin, so you might want to forgo this particular step. Now I'm using the move tool to flip it 180 so I can fillet the other side, or fillet. I have no idea which is the correct. Notice my drawing is still there below my object. That's kind of nifty. Oh, I'm just erasing my drawing to make it clear. Okay, going to fillet, and you can chamfer to, which is kind of cool. Select everything by using the shift 2. Make sure you have all of those edges selected. And then you press the, use the arrow to press that 3 to level 3, I believe. Okay. So now all I have to do is export this as an STL file. So download as for 3D printing, STL, and let's go and do some plugs real quick. So the center diameter, again, you want your top view and you want to be panned to the center. You're going to make a circle that's, just a little bit less than 22 millimeters in diameter, and the reason for that is you don't want it to rub against the rest of the fidget. You're trying for as much free movement as possible. So I think I made it 21.9. And then you're going to extrude this, and then you're going to also extrude a little 8 millimeter in diameter, 3 millimeter thick circle as well. So I just did my 8 millimeter, and I got my 21.9. Now I'm going to take the 8 and I'm going to extrude it to a depth of about 3.5 millimeters. And the reason for that is the depth of my bearing is 7 millimeters. And so if I choose 3 millimeters, then I know that if that sits on that circle, that's going to work. Okay. So we're going to just make this one 1.5. 1.5, something like that. So you can see they're both got some thickness. So how do I get one on top of the other? It's actually a lot easier than you think. I click on, well, we're going to use the snap tool, and we can do it with grouping on or grouping off. I'll show you how to group objects regardless. So I click on the object I want to group, to snap, and then I click on the snap tool. There we go. Snap one to the other, and we're good to go. So now I need to see if those are separate or if they are grouped, and if they aren't grouped, oh, they aren't grouped. So I need to go up to the group tool. Select them both first. Go to the group tool. There it is, grouping, and group those. Now when I click on them and I move, I click on them and move them. We'll see. Ta-da! Okay. There's another neat trick that one of my students showed me, if your object is sitting off the surface, press the D key, off you go. It will take any object to the surface, whatever object you're selecting. So all I'm going to do is save this as a 3D object, make sure I save my project if I want to come back to it, and we're done.
The world's largest fidget spinner.
It's 3D printed, and it's the world's biggest 3D printer.
Fast can everybody.
Yeah.
Big we just can we.
Only us. I call this one the ticketing machine spinning. Once again, the ghostly trick. The Lion King.
You have to take my back.
But you take photos.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Philip here from Spinnercraft. Thanks so much for joining me. Guys, today I'm doing a video on the comment that you guys leave the most underneath my videos. Do you want to know what it is? It's easy. It's, I don't ever need to spend more than $10 on a spinner. So many people say that, and the question is, do you ever need to spend more than $10 on a spinner, right? In the day and age of plastic spinners and also beautiful, really nice high-end metal ones, do you ever need to spend more than $10 on a spinner ever, right? Well, I'm going to get into that. We're going to go through some spinners, both low-end, high-end. We're going to talk about the difference, and we're going to answer your #1 most pressing question in just a moment. Alright guys, let's get right into the difference here between a $10 spinner and a more expensive spinner so we can answer this big question as to, do you even need more than a $10 spinner? So of course we have the Pro Fidget Spinner here, which is the traditional ABS spinner, which all of you know and love. For those of you who've been collecting spinners for a while, you've had this one for ages, and you know the value of it. It's definitely a good spinner. It's a budget spinner. It's rather inexpensive. Generally, you can drop this. You can, you can trick with it a little bit, and in the end, you're going to be able to still continue to use it. You know, the bearings may come out. You put them back in, and it's pretty good to go. Now that this is kind of more exploded into the mainstream and it's sort of trending, everybody who never knew about a spinner before is just finding out about one of these, and so they're really excited. They're getting them for $10 and under, and part of that excitement is thinking like, hey, this is great, I don't ever need anything other than this. Okay, and this does have its good pros and cons, and we're going to answer that big question at the end of this, but this definitely has its pros and cons, and it's great for a $10 or less product. And then from here, the upgrade would be something like we added the new fluorescent spinners, the fluoro spinners on the website now, and you can see these are upgraded to a 608 ceramic hybrid bearing. So again, still in the $10 and under range, and a solid spinner. This one has an upgraded bearing, has nice colors. So, you know, you still might say, hey, you know, I'm really thinking that maybe I don't need much more than $10, because that's a nice one too, and that's $10. And I'd say, you know, this one is a solid one, and it does a great job for the price, especially with the upgraded bearing, the new fluoro spinners that we sell on the site. So this one's also going to be great for $10, and that still kind of like goes along the lines of, do you need to spend more than $10? Maybe not. All right, so let's check out these. Everybody's familiar with these. Now we have the Big Baller, which is everyone's favorite spinner. Has lots of cool features. You can mod it out. You can do half one color, half the other color. You can swap the caps. You can do a lot of fun things with the Big Baller. It looks amazing. As you can see, it warps great. It's great for tricking. Same thing with the new Hex Baller that's on the site now. Everybody's digging this. All the guys that are on the pro team love this, and you can do tons of tricks with both of these. They're both amazing, 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 and they're $10, you know? So again, you're still finding that you can probably have a good time for $10. And then kind of finally, as we move into some of the multi-purpose spinners now, the new Little Baller, which we just put up on the site, you know, you can use this as a regular spinner. And it's beautiful, has nice design, great warps, really, really easy to spin. You can use it as a pen spinner, which I really dig. I love how multi-purpose it is. You can use it as a top, and it even comes with a little top feature, so you can spin and put on the table. And then it also has the same feature that allows you to mix and match colors. So again, all in like that $10 price range. So there's a lot of things that you can kind of get in the $10 price range, and you really don't need to leave that price range. So for some of you guys, the answer is going to be, you know, yeah, I don't really need to spend more than $10, and $10 is where it's at. I mean, I can get the Little Baller, I can get, you know, the traditional pro fidget spinner, I can get the Big Baller, I can get the Hex Baller, I can get the fluoro spinner. I mean, I can get all of this for $10 and have a good time. You can spin it, you can use it for fidgeting, you can use it for tricking, whatever your thing is. There's a lot of options in that price range. And then if you want to step it up one, you can take your traditional spinner, okay, and what you can do is we have adapters available now. So for all of those of you guys that already have these spinners and you're like, you know, I had this for a while and I want to try something new, what you can do is we can get our adapters. So our adapters have the new R188 bearing, the retainer locking system in there, and of course its own caps. So you can pop this thing together. You can spin it on its own if you'd like. You can spin it almost as a mini spinner. So once you got the caps in there, you got two caps with the spinner in the middle. So you can spin it as a mini spinner if you want to, but the whole idea behind this is you can pop this right in the center of your pro fidget spinner. And then now what you have is you have an R188 adapter with awesome caps that have a ring around the side that's going to help you do amazing finger balances and tricks really, really easy. And now this is a great way that you can upgrade your standard pro fidget spinner. So here's another great option that's inexpensive. So you've got your $10 bunch, then you even have options where you can upgrade your traditional spinner for inexpensive. Okay, so let's talk about what's the next step up from that, because that's the $10 range. Now let's talk about the over $10 range so we can have a fair comparison. All right, so the next up from that would be the Secret Service spinner. Now, this is also pretty much a fan favorite. Everybody loves these. They come in a lot of different styles. We have it in 8 different varieties right now. I mean, you can get the stainless steel, you can get the cool red, you can get the rainbow, which everybody's flipping out about. Really, really cool spinner. Small, nice, lightweight. Now you're going from something that's plastic, okay, and it has a plastic feel, you know, it has a plastic feel to it, to something that's machined. Now something that's machined, there's no rough spots, there's no hard spots on this, there's nothing. This is a really, really nice piece. You might feel a little bit of hot spot on the cap, but on this piece itself, it's really nice. And that's a big difference between this, you know. In the end, it's plastic. Sometimes, depending on where you got your spinner from, you can even feel like little pieces of plastic that weren't taken off correctly. Is it a big deal? Can you still use it? Absolutely. It's just a different experience. This is a step up from that. And these are great. Everybody loves these. This is the $25 price range. And these are a crowd favorite, and rightfully so, because they are nice, they are high quality, and it gives you a different experience than the traditional plastic ones. You know, this is something that's weighty in your pocket when you put it in your pocket. When you hold it in your hand, it feels like you have something really nice in your hand, not just a piece of plastic. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Those all have their purposes, but it's just an upgrade. Okay, so let's go to the executive and see what the upgrade from this is. Okay, so now the upgrade from the Secret Service is the executive spinner. Now, the executive spinner, I mean, it's hard to not like this spinner. It's pretty much silent. It feels amazingly weighted in the hand. The different colors and the styles that we carry are incredible, especially the new rainbow for the summer coming up. I mean, look at that. It's stunning. So do you get that kind of look, and do you get that kind of finish in this? No. You know, not to say that there's anything wrong with this, but it's just a different experience. I mean, this right here, this is a Honda Civic. This is a Kia, right? See this? I mean, it even has the symbol. This is the Mercedes-Benz, right? So, yeah, is there anything wrong with rocking out a Honda Civic? Is there anything wrong with rocking out a Kia? Absolutely not. But does everybody want one? No, not everybody wants one. Sometimes somebody's going to save up and say, you know, I want to get the Mercedes, or I want to get the Toyota, or whatever that happens to be, you know, and it just comes down to preference. Some people are saying, hey, I don't ever need anything more than this, and this feels fine. Okay, so, you know, if you're a kid and you're in school, maybe that is going to be great. But if you're an executive and you're working somewhere and you want to have something nice that sits on your desk, maybe a piece like this is going to look a little bit more high-end than a piece like this, you know, because obviously to a certain degree with a lot of colors, you know, that's going to fit one environment versus, you know, something that's, you know, like this, a nice gold piece, you know, that's going to fit a different environment. And also they have different purposes, right? With this piece, you're going to want to hold on to, you're not going to want to be tricking with it, you're not going to want to throw this up in the air. This might be the one that you're more inclined to fidget with. Whereas maybe the big baller is something that you're going to trick with. And if it drops, it's not going to be the end of the world for you. It only costs $10. You can play with it, you can have a good time with it, but it's still not going to give you the same experience as this is. And of course, that's not to say that one's better than the other, because there really isn't one that's better than the other. And there really isn't an answer to the question as, do you need to ever spend more than $10? Because it's really an individual experience. Some people will always just be fine with this, and some people are going to want this. Now, does that mean that the person that wants this is wrong and the person that wants this is right, or vice versa? Of course not. It all comes down to your personal preference and what you put your time and energy into. Now, somebody might be using spinners and maybe they use it like once a week, and so like this one's going to be fine for them. And then somebody might use one every single day and they're just like, you know, I really want a nice piece. I want to save up. I want to get one that's quiet, that I can use. You know, maybe I'm going to use it in the boardroom or in the classroom or wherever that is. I want something that's going to look nice, that's going to catch the reflection of the light when I'm filming. You know, there's a lot of different reasons why you might choose a more high-end piece than a less expensive piece. So let's talk about some of the even more higher-end pieces. So We've got here the maze spinner. We've got the Corsair spinner. This one's really great. The creator of this did this with the Spinnercraft logo for me as a special gift. But you've got beautiful high-end spinners like this that are $100 or more. You've got the Fid Canoe, which is kind of like the brass knuckle spinner. And all of these are over $100. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pieces. But at the same time, do you need this? Of course not. For some of you guys, if you're a younger audience, this is probably going to be even too big for you. Like this piece right here is the width of my hand. And so there's a chance that that's not going to be even the right size for you. Or this piece right here, this thing is like 6 ounces. This thing is super heavy and it's really a big size. So if you've got a smaller hand, this might not even work for you. So, you know, it's kind of determining where you're at. Some of the more expensive high-end pieces, you might not ever have interest in. But if you're a collector, just like somebody collects baseball cards or somebody might collect model trains or whatever it happens to be, you might want to go for a nice machine piece. You might want to find a piece that you read about the manufacturer, you read about the person who created it, you read their story, you got really invested, and you said, hey, like I want to go ahead and support that company because I know what they do and what they've put into this and the amount of energy and intention they put into this. So I'm going to support them. And you might decide to save up for a piece that's a nice high-end piece like these. But is it necessary? No, because like these pieces are over $100 and I love these. But you know, you can also get these that are like, you know, in the $40 and less range. So, you know, you got a beautiful high-end piece here. You've got one in the $25 range here. You've got your upgrade. If you want to do your Pro Fidget upgrade bearing, you got that. You know, and then you even just have a whole plethora of amazing pieces that are $10. So in the end, there is no answer to the question. It's all personal preference. But hey, there's no hating either way because you can love this for what it's worth and what it's good for. And then if you decide to purchase this, there is definitely some excitement and enjoyment in enjoying a nice high-end piece too. So is there a specific answer? No, there's no specific answer. Honestly, I like both and I collect both. I love the plastics. I think they're amazing, amazing, amazing. They're inexpensive. You can buy a few. You can buy some for friends. You can buy multiple colors. And if they break, it's not the end of the world. You know, sometimes I'll try to do crazy tricks with these, and I get pretty rough with them. You know, and then if you want, you know, there's also the nice high-end pieces, and this might not be your thing, but if it is your thing, then it's a great investment because they're really, really fun, and you just have a different experience, you know? Again, you know, it's just kind of like, are you in the Honda Civic, are you in the Kia, or are you in the Mercedes-Benz? Is there anything wrong either way? No, there's no wrong either way, but sometimes you just might want to save up for the Mercedes. So, guys, no matter which spinner you have, the most important thing is that you enjoy it, that you're having fun with it, that you're fidgeting, whether you're a fidgeter, whether you're a tricker. It doesn't matter which one, it's just that you're enjoying it and having a good time and being in the flow. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you hanging out with me for this important topic. And please do tell me what you think. Do you ever need to spend more than $10 on a spinner? Put your comment down in the comments below. I'm going to read all of them. I love to hear what you guys got to say. And also, don't forget, for those of you that are interested in our latest contest, we're having the Spinner Creativity Photo Contest. Take the most creative photo with you and your spinner, and you can win a prize. Go to the website, spinnercraft.com, go to the bottom of the page, click on the button that says Contest. You can read all about it and read how to enter. I look forward to checking out all of your amazing photos with your spinners in action anywhere in nature all around the world. You guys are awesome. You guys are so creative, so I'm pumped to see that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please go ahead and click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. Check out some of our other great videos. We talk about spinners and all things that have to do with being in the flow. All right, guys, your boy Philip here from Spinnercraft. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Peace.